don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. All right. I just watched the first season of Stranger Things for the first time ever. Yeah, surprising. It took me forever. I felt it was overly hyped. So I was like, you know what? It's just going to be like Game of Thrones. I'm going to wait a while. This show is too good to be allowed. Let's just say that. It's coherent. It has amazing child actors. The story completely flows. You know who the bad guy is off the bat. You see a white man with white hair in a black suit. Evil. Absolutely evil. The power structure is coherently sound. It makes sense. The fact that it isn't her, she was born with it because of the experiments done to her mother. Everything basically collides perfectly. And what I'm afraid of, because it ends perfectly. It ends in a way where you can accept it. You can accept that it was over. The problem is like, I think I spent too much time after the ending to show, oh, this is a possibility, this is a possibility, this is a possibility. I hope they planned out how many seasons they wanted, because I'm afraid, because what I heard is it was originally 2, maybe 3 seasons. They're going on to season 5. I have a feeling that they're going to lose what they have, which is why I feel it's too good to be allowed, because I feel because it's so good, they're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin such an amazing thing. It was, I like to find the wrong in things. I like to complain about what's wrong. The only things you can spot that are wrong is, why was Will only talking to his mother when she was alone? Why didn't she addressed when Jonathan was there, but when it was like crowded? And the monster, okay, I finally found the things I'm going to complain about. So they had an entire team searching the first 2-3 nights. Hundreds of people searching the woods. Why is it when the 2 kids, Jonathan and Nancy, go out hunting their first night out, they find the monster? Not only find the monster, they stumble into the upside down. They stumble into the other dimension. So I was like, okay, I get it, but still, that's kind of ridiculous that 2 kids find it. Oh, also, involving the kids. Like, all the kids are good people, except for some, because one thing I don't like about the newer shows, newer movies, kids are always good, parents are always, or adults are always evil. There's an evil adult, there is a good, questionable adult, and then there's the parents that don't know what's going on. So I like the well-roundedness, and it was the innocence of the kids that basically knew everything that was going on, even though they had falling outs with each other and they were being picked on by bullies. The fact that the kids are absolute nerds just rang so well with me. It really worked. The fact they were playing D&D games from the very beginning. You knew these kids were smart. That you knew that they would... The fact that they called the place where Will was lost, Mirkwood, I was like, oh my gosh, these kids are absolute nerds. They renamed everything to a way they would understand it. It completely resonated with me. Yeah. It's such a well-done show. And like I said, I don't think it's meant to go on for so long, because you have kid actors, they can grow out of that role. You have an amazingly well scripted show. How far can you go with it until you've run too far into something? Because what I'm afraid is, because I have no absolutely nothing about Stranger Things. All right, my family talked about it. My 4 brothers absolutely love the show, but they absolutely love Game of Thrones, and then I didn't hear the end of their complaining afterwards, even though I watched the entire series of Game of Thrones in 1 month. So I wasn't as disappointed, because I didn't spend 9 years, anticipating it. Yeah, so it's just like, I didn't want to get roped in like so many people do, and then so many people get upset. I don't want to, end up feeling that disappointment. I already have one show I've been committed to for like over 20 years. Yeah, I don't want to get roped into other shows and then be disappointed with how they end. But this show is just so well done. The characters, the story, it's just those few little things that I finally put my finger on. Yeah, the fact that Will didn't talk to anyone except for his mother. The fact that that Nancy and Jonathan were able to hunt down the beast their first time out when an entire village for like a week. Another thing is, what was Will eating? I know he was freezing to death, but he wasn't. It didn't. Well, maybe he was starving. I mean, when someone's turning black and blue, you can't really tell. So he might have been starving, but he was doing a lot of running too. So what was he doing? What was he feeding on to survive? I know that the air was supposed to be toxic to him. They've introduced a lot of things for like season 2. Even with the cop putting Eggos in that box at the very end, it's obvious that they're not going to get rid of her. But I like the fact that they did. It's funny how some shows, I'm okay with them not doing something. I prefer them not to do something. Like this one, I would prefer them not to have done it. But in other ones, like I had with Wednesday, they should have done something to make it more interesting. Because right now, this show is interesting enough as it is. It would have ended perfectly if you didn't make a season 2. It would have been perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable. You could have done a spinoff years later, but it's just one of those things that know your boundaries, and I feel like they were pushing it a little too far near the end because they already had something so well-rounded that it felt like they were poking holes into it just a bit. Because if they don't answer some of the things they've done, or they let those they let it slip out of their hands, that they've lost. Well, they've damaged me as someone who's fallen in love with the show in one day, basically. Yeah, I watched the series in one day. Yeah. So Stranger Things, absolutely recommend season 1. We'll see about season 2, season 3, season 4, and season 5 is supposed to be coming out next year. So we'll see. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.